Yes, welcome to the program. I am Jacob. I hope I am coming in loud and clear because you're going to need to hear what I have to say. I hope you're excited. Hello, David Gross, Terry, Peterson, Inner Stillness. We are ready. I like that. I'm ready too. Warning, conjunction following blood moon heralds the apocalypse. Time to wake up. Does anybody in the chat know what an apocalypse is? Let's start this show right off the bat because you know that I'm going to get some of them people coming on here saying, the world's not going to blow up. Jacob's saying the world's going to blow up. I'm not saying that. But the world that we've known, spiritually speaking, is about to blow up. And you're going to find out on today's show that this is something that we've been on this road for a while now, over, I would say, about 2 years. Thank you, Emerald P, 2012, telling me that they hear me loud and clear. A new beginning indeed. Think good thoughts, says in the chat room. A new beginning indeed. Take a look at that thumbnail, will you? I was asking my daughter Shiloh, I was saying, Shiloh, what about these thumbnails? She goes, well, you got too much going on, Dad. You got too much going on. Let me lower the music a little bit so it's not overpowering you. You got Trump there in the Blood Wolf Moon. If you saw the show that I just uploaded on Tuesday, you would know this. Trump himself was born on a blood moon. We're going to briefly cover what I covered in that video for the people that are new to the channel. And if you're new to the channel, well, you just hit that subscribe button. Because you're going to want to be here, especially over the next 3.5 years. 3.5 is a very interesting number. You're going to find that out today as well. But it's amazing how all this stuff... Come, let me greet you, okay? Let me greet you first, and then we'll go back to the picture. Let me greet you. Hello. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here for Press and Play. This is a very interesting program. There's a lot of stuff going on the dates of this Wolf Blood Moon and conjunction that follows between Venus and Jupiter. A lot of very symbolic things and a lot of symbolism that has to do with the number 7. I talked about this in the last video, but I didn't even touch, it was like the tip of the iceberg, okay? It was like the tip of the iceberg, and I was going to title the first show Part 1, but this is going to be a great follow-up, and it's great because I got the other piece of information that I was missing, and it's hidden away right there in that thumbnail. Does anybody know which one of those planets that you see is Jupiter? The one with the stripes, right? Jupiter, the king planet, often considered to be the savior of Earth because of its great mass. I cover this in many shows. Protects us from all the incoming asteroids and all space junk that most likely will be it's already probably cracking into it. And then below it you have Venus, the bright morning star. Something happens with this conjunction following this blood wolf moon at a time that is just, it's way too coincidental to be coincidental, if you know what I mean. A lot of people don't believe in coincidence. Coincidence would be when two things come together in a perfect anointed spot, if you will. And that has happened. So this journey that we've been on, we've covered a lot of programs over the last couple of years. And there's been a progression, which you're going to see, which just blew my mind. It's almost like it's spelling out. There was a story that was being spelled out that I was subconsciously not even aware of that brings us to where we are today. But this all started with this sign right here. The Revelation 12 sign. September 23rd. Now, if you don't know about this sign, don't get stressed. I'll tell you a little bit about it. It happened back 2017. You see there Virgo, that would be the Virgin. You see the 12 stars above in the constellation Leo and the planets. You see the moon at the foot of the Virgin, the Virgo, and the sun clothing her. This is the Revelation 12 sign. Now, smack dab in the middle is Jupiter. And for about 9 months, Jupiter was bouncing around within the womb, if you will. And then on the 23rd of 2017, on the 23rd, Jupiter was birthed into the world. Now, a lot of people, a lot of the channels that are saying that the world's about to blow up again. You know, I don't know why they get so much play. It's like I'd like somebody to click on one of my thumbnail titles and like say Jacob says this or some, you know, whatever, so that the people can actually come in here and get inspired and encouraged, because it's time. It's the time. It's the time. It's the only way to get through these times is to be above it. Is to be above it, as everything else, Venus goes below it. As Christ is risen, you're going to see. You're going to see in this conjunction. This sign that I was talking about in Revelation 12, okay? I'm just giving you a little going to catch you up a little bit. There appeared a wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with sun, moon under her feet. This is actually in Scripture, so if you're not aware of it, it's from a thing called the Bible. I don't know. Sometimes I talk above people, so I figured I'd just tell you about this. A lot of people think that this is symbolism and also literally playing out. Now, my website, which is, it's not on the screen, but it's jacobisrael.com. My website, I have like over 300 or some odd, I'd say, essays that reveal deeper things. It's all about the connection with us and God and coming to know the truth of who we are and the truth of God, and because the truth sets us free from the lies. So for years, I've been kind of pushing towards this moment, you know, from WWE to Christian TV to here, to such a time as this. It's interesting. It's interesting. So this virgin, she being with child, travailing in birth, pain to be delivered. Now that's a story of you. So while that was literally playing out, you know, how many of you were crying out, it's like, I just want that breakthrough. You know, I just want to be set free. I just want that new life. Where's that new life? I'm waiting for that rapture. I'm waiting to be poofed away, right? And religion has taught you that that's going to happen. Keeps you waiting. You get that dangling carrot. Doesn't wake you up to the fact that you need to wake up yourself. Got to turn your mind around. You got to repent. Got to change, because the day is now. Well, you need to, because it's the only way to break free. It's the only way to get above all of this, and then to be fully provided for, and also, you know, when you go through a hard time, you're not worried about it, because you understand that it's there for a reason, to get everyone else to be free. Because that's what people forget about this story, is that this story, everybody's so focused on bad things happening, and they are going to happen. We're going to enter a time of, I believe personally, you'll see as I lay this out, all the way back from a show I did called The Sign of Jonah, all the way to the 7 years of famine, 7 years of plenty, that we're in this time right now. We've been in this 7 years between those two eclipses that I talked about, the big X over America. All of these things that are going down right now are so incredibly important. That's why there's so many connections, and that's why we need to pay attention to them. So this sign happened, and after that, I did a bunch of videos on it. Okay, just to prove that. Now this was a video I uploaded on the 22nd of September. I had done a video probably about, I don't know, 7 months earlier than that, about this very same date. But September 23rd, I said the days of awe have begun, a rapture of truth, not lies. Because see, everybody gets so hung up with the things that are going to happen. Okay, you know, men's hearts will fail themselves with fear. It'll, you know, the sky will turn dark, and it'll be terrible and horrible and blah 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 blah. And everybody forgets the fact that when these things come to pass, you're supposed to look up. You're supposed to lift up your heads, because your redemption draws near. That's like the next, I mean, that's, all you got to do is read. Just get past the fear, because God doesn't give us a spirit of fear, and get into it. It's a nightmare. Every time a nightmare happens, you got to wake up from the nightmare, right? So sometimes the nightmare has to get a little bad to get you to look up. So what's drawing near, people? Is it the end? No, it's not the end. It's redemption. That's why I want them to take these clickbaity titles, because they're not just clickbaity, because there's truth in it. There is an apocalypse that's happening, but an apocalypse is an unveiling of truth. All you got to do is read the line beneath the title to get that. That's why I get a kick out of these. When I get the comments, I'm like, just read the line below. And then they're like, oh, sorry, dude, I didn't see it. Watch the video now. And then they watch the video and they're like, wow, maybe I've been doing it all wrong. Maybe there is more. Maybe I should say, teach me the truth no matter what the cost. So we started back down. So let me just go and let me transition over to this. Let me see if I can just pull this up and give you kind of a history here. Let's go back, and we're going to go back over here. You see this? It's not what you think. And then if you kind of keep going, then just a little, couple. Now this, by the way, was about 2 years ago. It says 1 year, but this was like literally on the 22nd of September. Then you go over here, and then it says, war in your heaven, the battle's begun, Revelation 12 confirmed. And we see Ophiuchus. And we see once again, and all the time, you see the serpent bearer wrestling with the dragon, the Ouroboros, the snake, the serpent. That's the battle that's happening in heaven. But where is heaven? Heaven is within you. So this has been going on for a while, but redemption's drawing near, because in the world it's going to get worse, even though it seems like it's going to get better, right? We're going to get victory over the principalities and powers of this world. And of course, the moon landing isn't real. Watch that video if you're into that stuff, all right? And if we keep going and we keep looking, we end up with our messengers, Oumuamua. Remember? Like, that's weird. The alien signals, right? The artificial intelligence. Think of what's going on here. It's coming. A year ago. It's coming. The Ouroboros. The end of the times as we know it. In the beginning again. That's actually about the Big Bounce theory, not the Big Bang theory. But we're about to come upon a new beginning. Then over here we have what? The coming. Oh, right? The wolf. You like my wolf impersonation? I'm not a sheep impersonating a wolf. You'd think that pastors would not, if they love Trump and they think that Trump's like the Christian president, they wouldn't say that this is Trump's wolf moon. But this was the coming. The time of judges is here. Judgment is here. Do you remember that Trump was sitting on the earth on the judgment card? What is judgment exactly? What is it? It's proper thinking. It's a time when you are separated from your ignorant thoughts. You're judged. If you do good, you get good. You do bad, you get bad. You figure that out, and there's a judgment that takes place, a separation of the lies from the truth, the goats from the sheep, the left from the right. And it's all taking place where? Heaven. Where is heaven? Within you. Seeing is believing. By the way, Travelers, great show on Netflix. I just finished the last season. So cool. So awesome. If you like AI and you're into time travel, check it out. We keep moving on and moving on. And here we go. The parable of the 10 virgins. Interesting, right? I was like, better get your oil and get the lamps ready. Get the lamps ready to shine. If you want to know about that, you want to know about what that really means, watch that video, okay? Go back. Subscribe to the channel, too. Here we go. Corruption or prophecy. You see, now, I'm not just jumping on bandwagons, right? And I'm not just, all of a sudden, you're saying something that you weren't saying. No. I've always been saying the same thing. Everybody just kind of misses that I'm not here to pick sides. I'm here to just reveal what I think is happening. Are end times playing out? Corruption or prophecy? That's Trump minting the coin right there. Before I go any further, give me a second. I want to go back to the, I want to come back over here into the chat room. I want to make sure that everybody is hearing me okay. Can everybody say hi? Oh my gosh, someone gave me $100? Really? All right. Thank you very much. And what I missed. Thank you so much, XK1. Thank you for the support, Baron76. Wow. Right on. Right on. Can you all hear me? Can you all hear me okay? Everything's still good, right? There's nothing worse than knowing that you're doing an important show and then, just craps out on you. So let me see if I can get back here and I can get back into what I was doing. I'm going to transition over. Man, I'm getting better at this. Unleashed, a viral video in the making. That's my dog, Dazers. Okay, let's keep moving. The time of tongues have arrived. You want to know what that means? Check it out. What is that right there? Now, I've been using this a lot. Isn't that interesting? It's 11. I didn't do that on purpose, by the way. Mini tekel uparshin. It's a very, very profound scripture. It was written on the wall Are we being weighed in the balances and found wanting, right? Well, the literal sign of Jonah just happened. That was 9 months ago. Like, in the natural, it was crazy. That's a baskin shark. That's like one of the largest fish. Okay, second largest fish ever. Okay? A lot of people think Jonah was swallowed by a whale. Was not. Swallowed by a fish. Most likely the baskin shark, bigger version of it. Well, about, I don't know, maybe 9 months ago, 10 months ago or so, all of these baskin sharks just, like, it was like 144 of them. True story. Watch the video. They were just all together. And no one understood it. And they were saying that it had something to do with the change in the magnetic field. Yeah, lots changing. A lot of weird stuff. 144 baskin sharks. Sign of Jonah. Jonah was swallowed by a great fish, was in the belly of the earth. How many days? 3, right? Maybe 3.5. Maybe 3.5 like this blood moon. Take 3.5 hours for it to complete. To bring us to the next day, where we have a conjunction, a huge conjunction between Jupiter and Venus. Many people call the Star of Bethlehem moment. I mean, is this all just kind of coming together? Do you think? Do you think that I've been talking about the 7 years, this hardship that's coming upon us? 8 months ago, temple to be rebuilt in 7 years? That's before the altar. At the time, you would, who could do it but Trump? There he is. I didn't even think about this, but look at how I placed Trump right smack dab his head right there. As if he's in the temple. It's interesting how I placed him above. Now, see, I don't even remember doing this, but I'm looking at it right now, and if I'm analyzing it as a picture, that's pretty symbolic. Temple to be rebuilt in 7 years. Who knows? Could happen. Beware of false prophets. It's just... And then you got Kanye right next to him. I don't know. They say that the deception is going to be so great in the last days that it would even, it doesn't, by the way, I don't believe it deceives the elect, but it could. That's why you all need to really not just listen to every YouTube video that you hear, but start seeking the truth for yourself. And follow the signs. You see what I'm saying? See how it's all coming together? It's interesting. It's interesting. The end is here. 11:11 is now. Greater things than these shall you do. Come and see. See the darkness we're leaving? The war begins, Christ will rise. Now this is the dragon. Remember I talked about the dragon, the SpaceX dragon, the this, the that, the other thing. Here we go. The dragon is upon us. Check this out if you want to. It's just amazing how this story has been playing out. Revelation 12 sign fulfilled, which would mean that today I should be talking about Revelation 13, you think? And I'm going to, which is so crazy. So crazy that the hidden power is going to be revealed. This was before, by the way, Alex Jones was kicked off the air. You go look at this. This is strange, right? This, like at the time, I think that they were warning him or something. So strange that it's like I had his head chopped off and by all these people. And I didn't know what I was doing. Just I thought it was kind of cool because I felt like that's probably what would happen next. 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. In the last days, perilous times can come, yes, but if not for the suffering of the oyster, there would be no pearl. Meaning that, yes, hard times are going to come, but it's going to make sense. It's going to work out because the apocalypse comet arrives September 11, 2018. You getting me? It's all working together. Enter the ark already. Remember, we were just talking about building the wall. Right over here, we've been talking about building the temple. But in one of my last videos, I said, look, the temple's kind of sort of already built. It's time to get in it, right? That's what I was talking about. And then we had like these beautiful storms. And each name had a meaning that was like, it was just all of it playing out before us. And then we come on over here to how to escape the maze. That was the giant minotaur. Time is running out. It seems like it all is working together. Judgment's coming. Trump's wall fulfills end times Bible prophecy, and there you see that warning once again. In the end times, scoffers will come, and here we are right now, today. I think that some people are going to say, that's just crazy. You're just... But I believe that there's more. I believe that with faith all things are possible, and I don't think that this world is pointless. I don't think that the things that we suffer are for no reason at all. And how do I know this? Well, let's talk about this lunar eclipse. How to see the last super blood moon, right? Whatever it is, right? Do you know that last year, this is something I want to talk about, because I got really excited. I thought that this was being declared tomorrow. National Sanctity of Human Life Day. President Donald Trump proclaimed that last year, January 22nd, 2018. And it was really about how we're going to be coming against abortion. And you read it, and it's like, yeah, for the first time you hear a president that cares about human rights, human life, human dignity of all kinds. So this we'll be celebrating the first anniversary of that, right? Let's get into a little Revelation 13, okay? Let's take a look at this now. Because this is just an interesting little thing. Because there's a lot of people talk about how the beast, the Antichrist, the beast, right? Well, there's a couple of them. It's not like there's just one. There's a couple of them. You know, the first one comes in, and it kind of sets the stage for you to worship the dragon that follows, the beast that follows. Now, there's a symbolism to this, and it is the fact that you're unknowingly worshiping what I would call the carnal mind, the ego, the id, the idea of who you think you are and your worst moments and your worst, like those negative thoughts, the idea of who you think you are, but you're not. The flesh. People worship it, right? And because they worship this dragon, this deception, this lie, it gives power to that beast nature within us. John, the Apostle John, said in, I believe it was 1 John, that there are many antichrists in the world. But let's for a second have a little fun. Let's talk about some candidates, right? Let's put some out there. Could it be Barack Obama? Is he the Antichrist, right? Is he going to come back? Is he going to be the guy that builds a temple? Is it going to be Trump? It's interesting. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies. And power was given to him to continue 42 months. Anybody know how long 42 months is? If we were to do a little calculation, I didn't put this through the, I should have thought of this ahead of time. Let me pull out my calculator here. Hope you still can hear me okay. I hope you're having fun, because this is where it gets really interesting. And this is why, do me a favor and please do share it around, get people to think, because the day that's coming up upon us, I don't know if the lights are going to go on. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think there's going to be a moment where the lights are going to run, but I think that there's going to be a direct shift that is going to happen, because this eclipse is taking place in Leo, which is really kind of cool. And the next day is just, according to Trump, what was it? National Human Sanctity. The human is sanctified. It's interesting. If we take it in a literal context, it almost sounds like it's spiritual in nature. I don't know. I believe in human life, but I also believe that we are more than just this beast. You know, this idea of who we think we are. I think that we are all children of, we'll say, the creator of all. The only thing that is. Everything comes from one thing, so... But this world, in this moment, it seems like this dragon. See, this is the story. The dragon gets cast down. So the war that's within, that's been within, it's going to be won. But for those that aren't ready for it, it's going to get pretty hard. And it was given unto him, his mouth speaking great things, blasphemies, 42 months. It was given him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. So this would be like something that is on the horizon. But how can that be when the temple is probably going to be rebuilt and we're going to put an end to an abortion? And how could that possibly be? Could it be that things are getting more godly? Let me come on over and talk to you a little bit. Could it be that things are getting more godly? Or could it be that perhaps it's such a deception that it could even deceive the very elect? That's what I struggle with, because I don't know. But I do know that there is a blood wolf moon, a super blood wolf moon. Things are going to get a little weird in the night. You get what I'm saying? In the darkness. But don't worry. It's just some rare cosmic geometry that'll turn into a big old full moon of spooky shade of crimson for a spell. 3 elements make up super blood wolf moon. But the part that makes it so rare is that it happens only 3 times this century on the 3rd day. It's interesting. A wolf moon is simply the folk name for a moon that happens in the month of January. And a wolf moon that takes place in the sign of Leo, some could say, is a Mandela effect. Because the lion shall lay with the lamb, wolf shall lay with. There it is. You got the wolf and you got the lamb and you got the lion all together. Same place. It's interesting. It's interesting. Okay, this is going to get really crazy. Okay, so let's talk about this lunar eclipse for a second. It is in Leo, right? Look at everybody. Look at all these videos. 4 zodiac signs. January super blood moon will affect the least. Zodiac signs most affected by super blood wolf moon Sunday. Express, I'll tell you, man, they got some great titles. They got Paul Begley all over. I like Paul. He's funny. I'll tell you, they give the Express and Paul, they go hand in hand, it seems. A lot of people talking about this. Now let's talk about Trump's connection again for those that maybe didn't see the video before. You know, he was born on a blood moon. Okay? Trump's already known as the blood moon president because he was born on that June 14th, 1946. I'm going to go through this quickly. Okay? So it's interesting that he was born on the blood moon. But you know what's even more interesting? Is this eclipse that takes place is happening like halfway between his term. Now, these were things that I was supposed to talk about in the first video. I forgot. Sorry. It happens like halfway through. President of Donald Trump began at noon on January 20th, 2017, so the eclipse begins exactly halfway through his term. Interesting. A lot of world events going down at the same time. We just here's the thing, right? This is from September 23rd, 2017 to January 20th, 2019 to the eclipse, from the king planet Jupiter, the picture of Christ, the Christ man, the Christ child that's birthed into the world, the 144,000 that some people, the Joel's army, the resurrected Christ. From the birth into the world is then hidden in the wilderness. Remember, I told you it was a time of building. It was a time for you all to get ready. It's time for us all to kind of get our ducks in a row and be ready. That's why I said things like get your oil, get the things ready, get ready, get your house in order. I kept saying it, not to be scared. Because if it was to be scared, shoot, these videos would be tripping. They'd be going everywhere. People would be eating the stuff up. But to tell you that your day in the sun is upon us while the rest of the world is going to grow into darkness. Man, people don't want to hear that because that means that they have to change. They have to love. They have to forgive. They have to stop tearing other people down because the other people have what they don't have. To that eclipse, guess what week we enter? The very first day of the 70th week. Come on. It's kind of cool. Kind of cool. 70 seems to appear everywhere. 70 years to fulfill Israel, right? 70 years. And what does that say on the bottom? Can anybody tell me what that says on the bottom? Just read it out loud. What's he building for us? What's he building? Is he building the temple for us? Is he going to build God a house? Because I think that's what it says. I think that's the whole point. I did kind of have that, I did have that picture of Trump, like, right. That's so weird, right? So strange. And he charged me to build him a house in Jerusalem. Cyrus. Look at the lion. All works together. It's all working together, and that's kind of a good thing. I mean, he minted the coin because this is the dude. This is the dude. And guess what the Sanhedrin did just recently, right? 70 nations. They invited 70 nations to Hanukkah, to the dedication of the altar for the third temple. The third temple that Trump is going to probably build within the next couple of years. I'm not saying he's going to, but it could happen. Seems like God's candidate, right? Let's talk a little bit about that 3.5, right? Sign of Jonah. In the ground for 3 days, 3 nights, right? 3.5, transformation. Add that together, get 7, right? If you look, we got the best view for this thing. But not all of us have the patience for the 3.5 hour transformation, in which case simply step outside at 9:15 Pacific time, 5:15 a.m. UTC, whatever that means. I don't even know what UTC is. To see the climax, blah, 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 blah. To see the climax, blah, 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 blah. What is a climax? A climax leads to life. That sounds gross, but be patient and wait for it. You get what I'm saying? We're going to have probably 3.5 hard years. Not all of us are going to want to wait through that. But be patient. If you want to see the climax, you get what I'm saying? Do you smell what Jacob's throwing down for you? Guess what else is happening on that day? Davos. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we can't forget about Davos. The World Economic Forum. This year, they're like, their videos. I should share some of their videos. It's like they look like the world is falling apart. It's becoming divisive and it's falling apart. And it's like, the story is it couldn't be more interesting to me, because the fears that they have. Take a look at this. The world is evolving into a period of divergence. Okay, so there's a natural understanding of things and a spiritual understanding of things. Let's read that again with spiritual eyes. Cool, right? The world is evolving into a period of divergence following a period of globalization. There was a new world order. Over the next couple of years, it's going to fight really hard to hold on. But the world is evolving spiritually into a period of divergence. We are going to leave the lies of the world because we've already been inured to it, used to it, sick of it, done with it. They're talking about Brexit. They're talking about Trump leaving the Paris Agreement. But let's look at what I highlighted here. Further economic confrontation between major powers in 2019. We're in 2019. They're declaring it. Davos got some big fears, while I got some good news. Before sunrise on January 22nd, 2019, look eastward. Look eastward. We're always supposed to look east. It's where the sun rises. Or in the general direction of the sunrise to see the conjunction of the planets Venus and Jupiter in the pre-dawn sky. Now, what's interesting about this, I didn't clip this article, is that there is 1 hour of darkness. That if you wait that 1 hour of darkness, it's just this beautiful thing that happens. The problem is most people fall asleep before it. It's a great passage where Christ is in the garden. He's about to be crucified so he can be risen again, right? And he's like, will you just stay awake with me? I know we got a lot of scary things on the horizon. Just stay awake, just an hour. Just an hour. That one last hour of darkness, just make it through, because in the morning, it's the day it's all given up. At the conjunction between these two brilliant worlds, shine north and south of one another, with Jupiter passing 2.5 degrees south of Venus. You simply can't miss these two brilliant beauties, because Venus and Jupiter rank as the third brightest and fourth brightest celestial body after the sun and the moon. After the sun and the moon. Of course, Venus and Jupiter are not actually close together in space. They just happen to reside along the same line of sight at conjunction when they are married, when they become one. The king planet, Jupiter, is about 7.5 times distance, 7 again. Venus, distance from the earth. On the seventh day, God rests. We're supposed to enter the Sabbath, the seventh day. 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, everywhere, all over this. And everybody's shouting doom and gloom and doom and gloom. And believe me, it's going to be doomy and gloomy. And we're going to be challenged as if we haven't already been challenged. But guess what? Here we are, 2019. We're better than we were, stronger than we were, and we're still here, right? But watch for the king to climb upward, and for Venus, the morning star, to be thrown down. This is a mystery, I think. I think we have hope. And since you're friends with the Jacob, I'd like to introduce you to Mr. Isaiah, who was also very fond of a Jacob as well. And the people connected to Jacob. It's a pretty cool thing. This is Isaiah 14. This is pretty beautiful. I read this sometimes. I'm like, yes, you're going to have mercy on me. Thank you. Yes, God has had mercy on me. And but Jacob is a bigger picture. It's not just Jacob, Israel, me, right? I'm not just an Israelite. I'm not literally an Israelite. I'm not Jewish. I'm Italian. I'm Irish. But let's talk spiritually speaking. Let's look at the words in Scripture that God's child is an Israelite, right? Israel, behold Israel, my son. I shall call my son Israel and pull them out of the bondage, right? And set them free and put them into the land of promise. 7 years, 7 years, 7 years, 7 years. I also forgot to show you in my thumbnails where I had talked about the 7 years, where we had that gigantic, the huge cow, and we had the baby cow, all with one day. 7 years of plenty, 7 years of... And in my last video, I've got, what was her name? It was Catherine, making that 2014 speech about the number 7, the importance of the number 7. The 7 cows that, as I did that video, that were scorched and burned in India, which is a terrible thing, 7. That we're going to be entering this time, right? That we're already maybe in it. I don't know. But I can see that temple being built. You know what's interesting about that altar? with the 70. Let me pull this up again so I don't forget. The altar, give me 1 second. Let me find this. Where are you? Altar. 70 nations were invited. 70. Now, do you know that there was also a snake in the wall? And that before that, a large boulder of the wall fell? Like there's all been these, where the coin snake, do you remember? The coin snake was in the Western Wall. All around the same time. Coin snake, money. All these things like happening in the natural so that I could point it out. Jesus says, you could tell what weather is going to be tomorrow because you look at the signs of the heavens, right? You see sky's red, you know it's going to be nice. It looks dark, you know it's going to be yucky. How come you can't discern the signs of the times? They're everywhere. They're everywhere, right? He made the planets and the stars to be as signs. That's in the book of Genesis. And like a lot of people, not paying too much attention to it. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob. So we'll have mercy on, the Israelites, God's children, the children of God, and will yet choose Israel. So in other words, going to have mercy on Jacob for being a meathead, because this is a picture of our, former carnal life, the manipulator, the trickster, the guy who would do anything, the guy who come on here and do like a scary old thumbnail, put on the flesh of his older brother, right? Because that's the way people get views, right? What do? They use the fear porn. They throw it at you, right? So what do? I try to do it in a certain way, because I still haven't overcome, right? I'm not completely Israel. For a little while, I felt like I had it. That's why I was saying Israel's here. But it's a spiritual message that I'm trying to get across to everybody, and I want you all to really pick up on it, because I am definitely a man of faith and a man who knows that this is what's like as things get tough in the world, right? Religion is going to because they're losing droves. There's going to be a change there, and it's like people need to just not to break free from the lies of religion in this world and to kind of see the truth. And yet will choose Israel and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Another way of looking at that would be like back in the day, Jacob was he wasn't anything special. He wasn't like, he was pretty okay. He was, he had a great big flock. He had a lot of people, and they were speckled sheep. They weren't the typical flock that, the sheep shearers like Laban and religious television and religions like, it's the drug addicts, the transgenders, the this, the that, the people that the people that have made mistakes, the people that have been to prison, the people like the speckled sheep, right? I'm a speckled sheep, right? We're all. I said, give them to me, right? That's what Jacob says, and he says, give them to me. Give me just. That's kind of like what I was saying when I was the head writer of the largest Christian network in the world. I was a shepherd, the fastest growing day star. I was the shepherd. When I was there, I told them, we're going to win Emmy Awards. We won Emmy Awards, not because of me, but because I had faith. I say these things so that, it's kind of like Jesus said, don't believe my words. Believe the work, right? When I say, it's not me, I'm not great. I work a very humbling job. God has kept me humble, more than I need, but not enough that I can't still get upset with this thorn, like Paul. How many times I pray? I don't want to worry about the bills, I don't want to come on here and say, thank you for Patreon. I don't want to ask people to do things that I don't want to overextend anybody. I just want to do this, and I know that God will provide. So that's why I'm not like everybody else. But imagine, back in the day, there's this dude, Jacob. Everybody knew that Jacob knew God, but he knew the one true God, right? So they thought that. So they started coming to the house of Jacob. They started coming. They're like, hey, can we be part of your family? And he's like, yeah, dude, come around. Isaiah prophesied of the day that strangers would be joined with them, and they'll cleave to the house of Jacob. It's like be nursed by it. It's kind of like, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel, hear me on this, because it's our house, shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and for handmaids. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule their oppressors. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall give you rest from your sorrow and from your fear, and from the bondage that you were made to serve. And you'll take up this proverb against the New World Order, and you'll say, how has your oppression ceased? Your golden city. Any kings you know compared to gold? Because the Lord has broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. He that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted. And no one's going to stop this from happening. The whole earth is at rest, and it is quiet, and they will break forth into singing. Now here's the best part. The fir trees shall rejoice at you, the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no one has come up against us. Do you know that there is a great festival? It's a new year for trees. This is the day that's coming. But it gets better. We're not done yet. It gets even freakier. Hope you're still here. Make sure you share this around. If you got those goosebumps, that means that, maybe there's something happening. Share it. Get it out there. Let's go to the next one. And they shall speak and say unto you, and they shall say to, they shall say to Nancy Pelosi, or, they shall say to, I don't know. I can only think of Nancy Pelosi because I saw her today. And it sounded like I was making a political thing. You could say anybody Republicans. They could say to anybody that is a ruler, an oppressive ruler, and it's on both sides. Stop believing that one side is for you. If you're in debt, that should be proof enough that you're a slave to their system. But guess what's coming? You're going to be able to say, oh, you became as weak as we are. You're not so powerful and rich anymore. You're becoming like us. Look at all your pomp, all your bragging. You're brought down to the grave. The worm spreads under thee, and the worms cover thee. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations? For you said in your heart, I'll ascend into heaven. I'll exalt my throne above the stars of God. I'll sit on the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I'll do this and declare myself to be God in the temple. Do you know what Lucifer is? Do you know where that word comes from in Latin? And do you think that it's a coincidence? Do you think that this is a coincidence? It's not a coincidence. Lucifer is the morning star. The Latin name for the planet Venus as the morning star. It's interesting. Now, why is that interesting? Why is that interesting? Does anyone find that interesting? Does anybody remember that Lucifer is cast down? After the conjunction of Venus and Jupiter, Jupiter being the king planet, Jupiter being the Christ, on January 22nd, watch for Jupiter to climb upward. Watch for the Spirit of Christ, the Spirit of God in your heart to bring you to new heights. And for Venus to sink downward into the morning sky, where the two become one, the flesh, the man, the woman, and the spirit become one. But as John said, this is gonna get some people. I love it. As John said, he must increase, I must decrease. Jupiter must become preeminent, while the morning star less important. It's a day that is, I think, an important one. Do I think that it's all... I don't know. Do I think that this, that there's going to be some major blackout, right? Some people saying that. Reboot, restart. I don't know. I don't think so. I haven't had any weird dreams or anything else. But I will say, it doesn't matter what happens to me because of this. Let me pull this up. Because of this. Now the thumbnail makes a little sense, right? How art thou fallen from heaven, O morning star, son of the morning? It's interesting. It's another way of looking at these things. I know that I know a lot of you want to say that the story of Lucifer already happened, but I would like to point out, unless you're a Bible scholar, and if you're a Bible scholar, then you would understand that there's nothing new under the sun. Everything that has been will be again and is again. It's an unending cycle until it's broken. And the good news is the cycle is being broken. That's what Ophiuchus is about. That's why the serpent bearer is now in our sky. That's cycle. It's coming to it's a new day. It's a new day for trees. And I think they got about like 3.5 years left. It sounds nutty, but I think, and yes, a lot of people are going to ask, how does this have to do? What does this have to do with Nibiru and the Anunnaki and everything else? You talk about that a lot. What does it have to do with the Mandela effect? It has everything to do with all of it, because anything and everything is connected somehow. And that's why I just find this really, really, really kind of cool. Let me come on in here and say goodbye to everybody, because the Dan, as you know, is most likely home. I hope that you hear me okay, and I feel like, oh my gosh, yeah, I can tell. Yeah, a lot of you, I tell in the super chat, a lot of you felt like this was a good show, and thank you for doing that. Thank you, May, the devil rest. Thank you, HD Wise. Please do a recap so I can see this. I have limited usage. I bet a lot of people can't watch a full video or lose some. Oh, yeah. You know what? That's a good idea. I should do a recap. I should do a little short, 5-minute piece or something. My live streams are a little bit longer. Well, it was good seeing you again, man. Tudor Hair Extensions, thank you very much. Whatever, thank you very much. Let me say hi to everybody else in the chat as well. I hope that the show made some sense. I hope that you do me a favor and that you do share it around. Will you please? Will you smash the like? It's really important, Carl, James, Shelley, Thomas, Cricket, whatever, Char Rose, Sandy Hopkins, Promise Ring, Gusto. You got going too fast, Rob Stoner, Crystal Wilson. So thank you. She says, thank you for your videos. Anytime I look on social media, just about no matter where I'm work, I'm filled with confusion and upset, humdrum sadness. And guess what? The day's coming where you're going to say all that stuff was not in vain. Just be patient. Stay awake this last hour. Get your house in order. You know, nothing. Okay, let's say something does happen, right? Get your house in order just in case. Something is always happening, people. We're alive. And it'll get boring if things don't change. But things are changing. Things are changing. They have to. This is the 7th day after all. You know what I mean? 7th day after all. 700 days after Trump is born, Israel's formed. 70 years of age, 7 months and 7 days old, Trump is sworn in. On Israel's 70th anniversary, Trump moves the embassy in Jerusalem. Is considered the capital of Israel. I mean, sevens everywhere we look, right? 77 days from the eclipse to the video that I did. From the which is crazy, about the fig tree. Where I said that a new day for trees, a new root is going to take form. That it's coming. 77 days from the conjunction. Well, I mean from the the festival. It's interesting. 7 dislikes, Larry says. I love it, man. I love all of you. And Who Me says white people are going to hell. Let me tell you something. I got to tell you something about this. We all go through it. It had nothing to do with color. Stop looking without, start looking within. Start seeing the spirit of people. I know no man after the flesh. And I love each and every one of you. And I want to thank you. And I'll talk to you soon.